Most High in Christ bless you too.
All right, Israel. So all praises to the Most High. The name of the day's lesson is going to be about enduring hardness. All right, and so we're going to open up in 2 Timothy. Second Timothy chapter 2. What's up, Brother Donald Shalom? In verse 1. So it says, Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men. So before we continue, when you read the first precept, and it says for Israelites to be strong in the grace that is in Christ, is referring to you being strong, that the Most High has given you the opportunity now to walk in this truth, and for you to take a full advantage and opportunity of the truth that you have been exposed to, and you to walk in that knowledge. You no more to walk in the knowledge of your mind. You have to walk in the knowledge that the Most High has given you to walk in, regardless of how it makes you feel, regardless of what you think or you thought is right. You got to be mentally and emotionally strong so that you can physically endure, because if you don't have your mind straight, you ain't gonna be able to make it. Okay? We supposed to be the toughest people on the face of the earth. Oh, I ain't talking about just the black man and the black woman. Without the Most High, the black man and the black woman is worthless, useless. Okay? With the Most High, everything, the greatness of the Most High. The greatness of the Most High is that you have the ability to be loving, kind, compassionate, wise. You understand? No murderer, no hater, no thief, no adulterer, no fornicator, no. You understand? You ain't gonna just eat raw animals. You see the one video where the man takes his little daughter hunting? He cuts the warm, pumping heart out of the deer, and she's biting it at the same time. You ain't gonna do that as an Israelite, because the wisdom of the Most High tell you that that thing is still alive, that life is in the blood. So in order for your life to physically be together and be on course, and for you to have success, you got to mentally go through the furnace. You got to mentally go through the fire. And you got to be strong in the word of the Most High that the Most High has put out in front of you and giving you an opportunity to live in, to walk in. You got to be strong in that. Okay? So we at, what's up, Uzziah? So we at 2 Timothy 1 and 2. Thou therefore, my son and daughter, men and women, be strong in the grace that is in Christ. So we understand that. Okay? That strong is talking about, that's your mind state. That's why we're called the BAU, the Behavior Analyst Unit. Because we always analyze the behavior of everything. Okay? So if we're able to analyze somebody else's behavior, we sure in the heck better have our behavior and our mind mentally and spiritually equipped and strong to endure the afflictions that we have to go through. You have to be a strong-minded person. You have to be a strong-willed person, because the things that in this truth, the Most High going to suffer you to various different trials, various different temptations to see if you are going to keep his commandments or no. Is this person going to endure? What does this person do? Is this person going to smoke regardless of the grace that I have given him? What is the grace? The word of the Lord. What is grace?
The word of the Lord.
Let's prove that. Okay? Let's get Titus, the book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 11. The book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 11. What is this person going to do? Is this person going to eat the unclean food anyway? You're hungry. You see the barbecue truck. You see the barbecue truck. What are they selling on the barbecue truck? Ribs. There's nobody else around. You're new to this truth. Well, do we cut the new person in the slide? No. No. Because God have given no man license to sin, neither commanding any man to do wicked or evil. So you can't give anybody any slack. You got to tell him the new just like the old. You got to keep the laws the same. Titus 2 and 11, for the grace of God that bringeth salvation have appeared unto all men. Together, what's the next two words?
Teaching us.
Teaching us. Let's hear it. Teaching us. That's what grace does. So you got to be strong in the thing that the Most High is teaching you, which is his word. Teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly. That's what grace does. Grace ain't a license for you to keep being wicked. How can we say that? Because we get people all over the world that hear these videos, that see this stuff. How can we say that very nice? Because they don't want to be called wicked. I don't want to call you wicked. Grace ain't a license for you to do the wrong thing. Is that more acceptable? You smooth things. Speak unto us smooth things. What's smooth? Grace ain't a license for you to make a mess up. That's smooth. That's as smooth as it gets. Anything smoother? Mess up, make a mistake, be in error, get it wrong. The Lord, when you finish, the Most High is like, that is wicked. Can't shut that door. Grace is not a license for you to be like that. We are not to be like that. Okay? So now, but it's supposed to teach us to deny, meaning to say no to unclean foods, cross-dressing, transgendering, race mixing, idolatry, defiling the temple, defiling the body. What else? Defiling the Sabbath, being disrespectful, brawling, fighting, evil eyeing, evil surmising, thinking evil, sowing discord, rendering evil for evil, retaliating, grudging. What else? See? Not obeying the powers that be. Not obeying the powers that be. See? Not obeying the powers that be. You still got to obey the powers that be. Stealing. Grace teaches you not to do those things. It teaches you to deny those opportunities. And the worldly lust, meaning the things that this world promote and put in front of you as valid. Give you an example. If there's a dress code that's going to make a man effeminate, that's a worldly lust. All the men now are wearing tighty, itty bitty titties. You wearing that? You wearing this tight stuff, man. Women used to wear that tight stuff to get the attention. Now guys are wearing the tight stuff. Hey man, wear some baggy stuff. Baggy stuff. Put some bass in your voice. Name you Flip. Some tough. Old school, man. So, you know, the world try to turn you effeminate. You don't go after that. Why is that? Because the Lord said an effeminate cannot inherit the kingdom of God. What is an effeminate? A man that likes, it feels kind of funny. Boing, yoing, 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 yoing. You feel boing, yoing, yoing? You gonna get roasted. You can't feel like that, brother. You are a man. Okay? You are a man. You cannot act effeminate. Okay? You have to tell these people this. That's a worldly lust. You can't go out the worldly lust. And then vice versa. Anything that the scripture is correct, you can't do that. That we should live soberly, righteously, and godly. Okay? That's what grace teaches you in this present world. So now let's lose that. Now, we'll go back to Timothy. Timothy chapter 2 and now verse 2. So we got to be strong because you're going to be challenged in verse 1. Challenged to do what you want to do. Challenged to rebel against your parent, your heavenly father, and your mother. The spirit of wisdom, the spirit of the Most High. Okay? And the things that thou hast heard of me, check this out. So this is Paul. He's telling Timothy this. Stay with me. Among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men. So hold this and let's go to 2 Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11. Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 22. Y'all share the video. Read it.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more.
He said, I am more. Okay? Why did he say I am more? Remember, he's not referring to, at this point, those that were of the circumcision. Mainly the ones that did not believe in Christ. He's not referring to them because they are not ministers of Christ. So he's referring to people that were ministers of Christ. He said, I am more. What is he more of? He feels that he is more of a conqueror. Why do you think that? Well, what was he telling Timothy to do? To endure hardness. He said, I endure the crap more than those other brothers. He said, oh, I know I'm speaking foolishly. I know this might sound crazy, but when it comes to proving being in this truth, he said, man, I'm still in this truth. I'm still enduring this truth. I've had my butt kicked. I've had handed it to me. I've been through the fire, man. I've been through hard times, and I'm still here. How many of you go through hard times? You ready to pack up and go? You ready to pack? Where you going? You going back to sin? What you gonna do? Become a weed head? Turn your teeth brown? Breath stinking, smoke? And those of you that smoke, I'm sorry, I don't know who smokes, so I ain't talking about you personally. I don't know you do that. And I don't want to know. What I want to do is what I'm doing, bringing out this truth. Now, if you don't want your teeth brown and your breath stinking, stop smoking. Okay? You don't want that? Just stop smoking. That's all that is. And don't hate me because I'm telling the truth. You know that. Women don't even want to kiss you. Or maybe she do because she do it. Both of y'all need to stop. How did I get into that? He don't smoke us today. No, I'm on everybody today. I'm on the scriptures today. So, he said that, listen, I'm enduring hardness. That's what he's referring to. Okay? And when he said, I speak as a fool, he said, hey man, I'm more. Read the next part.
In labors more abundant.
In laborers more abundant. Yes, meaning he is dragging people out to do what? Teach. Yeah. More abundant. Because I'm dragging people. I'm going everywhere. I'm going out here to teach, man. Okay? So he knew his work. He knew the difference between what he was doing, and he can see what other brothers was doing. So that's why he was able to know that. I don't think that he felt or took it any way personally. But the faith that was in him, it drove this brother to go and labor. Because he wanted to see change in the nation. That's how you got to be. You got to want to see change in the nation. But if you still stuck in the world, and the world still is cultivating your interest, and you still inquiring minds about sin, you're not ready. The Lord himself said, no man putting his hand to the plow and looking backwards is fit for the kingdom. So when you in this truth, you have to be about this truth. You have to believe in this truth. And you ain't supposed to let the things that you go through turn you into an unbeliever or a disbelief. There's always an answer for the stuff that you go through. You have to go to the source that brings forth the answers. You ain't gonna never find no truth in a lie, and the world is full of lies. You can't never find the answers or the truth inside of the lust of the flesh. And the things that you go after, that's the lust of the flesh. So you can't go into the lust of your flesh looking for resolution. It don't work like that. You're not going to get the correct answer. You're going to get what you want to hear. And that is not always the truth, what you want to hear. Okay? So we're 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 23. Go ahead.
In stripes above measure.
Now stop. Read it right without error, messing up.
This is 2 Corinthians 11, 23, third precept. In stripes above measure.
In stripes above measure. Why did he say in stripes above measure? Because they would take Paul and they would, through hypocrisy, nab him, and then they would beat him. Yeah, they would beat him. You know, claiming that they beaten him for righteousness' sake. They would actually beat him. Okay? And he's going to tell you later on down in the next precept what those stripes were. Go ahead.
In prisons more frequent.
So how many of you are actually doing this work abundantly to where that's all you do is this work? You consume with this work. How many of you is getting beat up? You receiving stripes by people feeling that they doing the right thing. How many of you have been in prison, put in jail for the scriptures, violated for the scriptures? They put their hands on you for the scriptures. He's saying when he was teaching this in Timothy and telling Timothy to endure the hardness, it's a lot of these things we personally have not experienced. So the stuff that we're struggling and that we're fighting with is the plague of the heart. It's the lust of the flesh. You ain't got over that. You ain't even bit and entered into this twilight zone. You see what I'm saying? You still fighting this stuff in the world. You still fighting the fact of what you can do, what you can't do. This is a whole nother, this is a barrier. All right?
In depths oft.
In depths, oftentimes, he was about to lose his life. They stoned him to death. He's finna tell you about it. Read.
Verse 24. Of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one.
Right. So the Jews, the circumcision, when they after he repented and they didn't really believe, he said they called me at different times, man, and they beat me. They beat me 39 times. Because if you go, see how if you go if you go to 40, then it seemed evil. So they only beat him, and they only was striking him 39 times. Well, yeah, save one meaning -1. So he was beaten. He was 5 times, 5 different times. That would lead you to believe that you are on the wrong path, and that the Most High is trying to turn you away from something. He's trying. No. That's the Most High putting you through tests and trials. How much can this person take? How much can they persevere? What example can I use, can I put into this earth? Let me use him to do it. He was made for that. Nobody else was made for that position but that brother there. He went through that. And so now if we happen to be a part of something, or you end up somebody putting their hands on you, you don't leave the truth like, oh, if I wasn't in the truth, then this wouldn't happen. You notice how so many people, you know, they, after they leave Israel, now want to start creating why not to be an Israelite. I used to be a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite anymore because I got done this way. You know, they hurt my feelings in there. They come up with some, you know, but I bet they didn't get beat 39 times. +1. You know, there's always something they want to blame on the Israelites. Oh, they did this to me in the congregation. Shalom. They did that. But this brother, he got whooped, man. He got beat. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 25. Thrice was I beaten with rods.
So he said 3 times they was hitting me with rods. Ain't talking about no little switches like he was a baby. How many of us grew up off the switch? Go and have your mama go tell you go and get it. Go out there. Go out there and bring me one of them switches. We go get the weakest one we can see. Get one of them babies. Get the baby. And they, what you don't know is that them branches. She wants you to bring back a branch so she can turn your behind up with. Take them pants off. You be sitting there wept up everything. You gonna mind me. And you sit there and take it. She beat the brakes off you, boy. And when ain't nothing got no brakes, you all over the place skidding. You be all over, boy. You be tossing and turning. Phew. But they got him with rods, he said. They beat Paul with rods, man. Maybe bamboo or something. They got him good. He said, they tore me up. You some wicked niggas. Negroes. They got me. Go ahead.
Once was I stoned.
Once I was stoned. Okay, meaning he got straight up hit, and they Acts 14. That ain't no. Somebody threw a rock at me, thought it was funny. It hit me, and then they ran. If you a group of people and you murdering somebody, you have to be under the assumption that they did before you leave. And you can hit somebody in the head and they just black out. So they stoned him, man. Left for dead. They thought he was dead. Once I was stoned. Okay? So let's grab that real quick. Acts 14. As we read this, think about your hardness. What you going through. Acts 14 and verse 19.
This is Acts chapter 14 and verse 19. And there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead.
Supposing he, so they thought he was dead, man. Man, they break them that tough. Go ahead. Now listen to more of the story. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he arose up.
He got up. So when the disciples showed up, he got up. How do you think he felt? He felt really terrible, man. He felt busted up. I'm sure he had to be bleeding. They had to hit the head. He had to be bleeding. He had to be hurt. Sometimes you see some of these, Shalom Morty, Damien, Yusuf. You see some of these overseas videos where they're doing these atrocities. Ain't no policeman there, ain't no military there, ain't nobody there to stop. So they do it in the most heinous fashion that you can imagine. So they had to pick up the boulders. One hand is holding like 3 pages, so I can't use the other hand. But they pick up these big old boulders and they'll be ready to smack you with them, man. They was pouncing him with that, supposing that he was dead. So they knew that, like, we killed him. We killed him for teaching. Each and every last one of you think about that. Or is that what is that what you fighting against? Is that your hard time that you got to endure? Or is your hard time just a correction? Somebody corrected you, now you have an issue with that. I'd rather somebody correct me than for me to be stoned to death someplace and the life is still in me and they leave me like that and people have to find me now. I got to heal like that. So you're not going through this type of stuff that the followers of the Most High be going through. You're going through these. I don't want to water down your test or your trial or your situation. I'm telling you that you got to get out. You got to endure this, put it behind you, and you can't be, you can't pacify, babyfy yourself. You got to be a big man. Got to be a big woman. You have to mature. Okay, so now, Acts chapter 14. So they supposed he was dead. In verse 20, howbeit, read it.
Howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up.
So he finally started moving. He didn't just spring up like, y'all, I was spending with y'all. Check it out. No, he had to move very slowly. He had to come to consciousness. He was knocked out. And when the disciples was there, he came to consciousness. He rose up. Go ahead.
And came into the city. Mm-hmm. And the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe.
So the very next day, he left with another brother that's a believer in Christ. And he went into a place called Derbe. Most of us will be headed for the border. To heck with Derbe. This trip is what? This trip is over. Be like, I'm going home. You ever been someplace and hurt yourself? And after you get hurt, you're like, it ain't fun no more. It's over. I'm ready to go home. You start thinking about the comfort of your own, you know what I'm saying, your own spot. You start thinking about, how do I comfort myself? How did I even get here? Dang. Not him. Read the next one. Verse 21.
And when they had preached the gospel to that city,
he went up and started preaching the very same day. Being stoned to death, do you think that man was feeling good the next day? Listen, if we fall, we hurting the next day. We gonna be hurting for a week. This ain't no little boy. It's a grown man. This man was hurting, and even in his afflictions and his pains, he was still out there preaching the gospel. So when the scriptures tell you to endure hardness, each and every last one of you, you got something to say. You got affliction, you got the plague, you got something going on with you. But you got to get through it. I ain't pushing it off saying get over it. It's not important. That's not what's being said. What's being said is that you have to work through it. You have to endure it. And we're using this as an example to show you when things get tough, people keep moving. Especially days that serve the Most High, they keep moving. They stay attached with the Most High. He was with brothers. He didn't call back. He didn't write back, or he didn't fly back to his daddy, or I'm going to see my cousin them. We finna retaliate on these fools. He didn't do all of that. He stayed with the church. He stayed with the Israelite men that keep the commandments with the disciples. Go ahead.
Had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and Antioch.
And had taught many. Yeah, that was the whole thing. And had taught many. What you think that he was teaching them, man? He was teaching them the stuff that he was going through. And that these are the things that you too someday will face. Okay, so now we're going to go back to 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 25. Thrice I was beaten with rods, and I once was stoned. So we read about that. Thrice, meaning 3 times, I suffered shipwreck. You think that's like to be stuck and stranded? Yeah, you shipwreck, like nobody's gonna find me, man. And just think, in that day and age, they didn't have no radios, no Coast Guard, no helicopters flying over. The last reference mark, the last time this plane's beacon was at 0-100 hours, and they didn't have none of that. Or this ships, they didn't have that. You wreck. Nobody, who's gonna come look for you? It says a night. Read the next part.
A night and a day, I have been in the deep.
A night and a day I have been in the deep. What do you think that means? A night and a day. A night and a day. Where's the deep at? You're on a ship. Where would the deep be? In the water. He said he floated out there. What would that do to you as a woman? You sisters. You come unglued. Oh! You come unglued. Your eyes would be about that big. I heard something. You be holding on to scrap. No. Don't sink. That would be horrifying. About you brothers. You floating around, man. Not knowing what's going to happen. If you're going to be found. People die out there. That's the first thing you're going to be thinking. People die out here. The creatures in the sea, they're going to come and eat you. They will come and eat you, man. Sharks will come eat you up. Feed off you. We ain't been in no situation like that. These situations that we do go through, we got it tough. We got to be tough. We got to toughen up. You understand? We definitely have each other to lean upon, to learn from, to receive comfort from. If you in dire need and you just need somebody to, you say, hey, what y'all doing? Y'all going somewhere? I'm gonna come be around and be with the family and be with y'all and hang out. Let's do something. You feeling low, your spirits is drained, you fighting. But you have to endure hardness. You gotta confess your faults with each other. You gotta tell one another what's going on. You cannot hide and cover your sins up. Hide and cover your sins, that's going to get you in trouble. Go to the book of Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus, Ecclesiasticus, about being ashamed. About there is a shame. Yes, Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 21.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 21. For there is a shame that bringeth sin.
There is a shame that bringeth sin. You know what that shame is? You doing something, or you feeling some type of way. Let's just say that. Or you going through something, but you don't say nothing about it. Read the verse on top, verse 20.
Observe the opportunity.
Observe the opportunity. Okay, observe the opportunity. That opportunity is known as the fork in the road. What are you gonna do? You're gonna say something. Now, a lot of people don't say anything. And that's why, you know, you got a mass majority of the people have to be destroyed. But there are a select few that will say something. I'm actually surprised about some of the things that people come and they tell me, well, I'm having a problem with this and I'm having a problem with that. I'm glad they say something about they having a problem so that they can get the help. But typically it's not the type of person I would think that would be, you know, that would confess these faults and say, hey, you know, can I lean on you, my brother? I'm having this problem. You know, but then the ones that you would expect to, never say anything about anything. Never say anything about anything. How many people are walking around never saying anything about nothing? Oh, I'm fine, I'm good. Really, you're lying, but I'm fine, I'm good. Everything is okay, I'm not going through anything. Because you are ashamed to say something. You're embarrassed that you think that this thing that you're going through, that it's not common. Well, I tell you, it is common. It's so common that we all go through it. We all are challenged with the same common thoughts, the same common battles, and the same common desires. But we all don't respond the same way. So the ones that have success in how they respond are those the ones that you want to try and introduce yourself to. I want to know a person that has passed the common test so that they can tell me this is what I should do, this is what I shouldn't do. And then they can do a follow-up to say, hey, I'm just making sure that you stand true, you stand strong. They can exhort me. You need people that will exhort you to stay in the faith. Because if not, the scriptures say that we should be exhorted daily, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. Sin has the ability to fool you, cover, and have you hide it from others, cover it up as if it's innocent, it's blameless, it's not that bad. Man, that's the thing, that the Most High will turn his back on you. He will turn away from you over some of the sins that you commit. And that's why when you bring that sin out and somebody correct you, you have to then, they're gonna expose that, man. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna expose, they're gonna show you that this sin is actually a lot worse than you was planning it to be, that it was perceiving to be to you. This sin is of the devil. This sin is not of the Most High. This is not something that's acceptable. Okay? So, observe the opportunity. Go ahead.
And beware of evil.
And beware of evil. Meaning, be warned, advised, cautious. Go ahead.
And be not ashamed when it concerneth thy soul.
And don't be afraid. That's what it means. Don't be ashamed when it concerns your soul. Because at the end of it, how are you going to turn out to be? You're going to turn out to be somebody that going to be proud of the situation, or somebody that are embarrassed by it. And you bashful. You have to hide your face. See? So don't be ashamed. You have to get out in front of the situation. The situation it'll get worse if you don't say anything about it. It'll get worse. And you might think that the worst is in front of you. Oh, I'm having these thoughts. Oh, I'm thinking about this. Oh, I did this action. Oh, I'm considering doing this action. Or I move forward a little bit. That ain't the worst. The worst is when, remember, the scriptures teach us that when lust is conceived, it bring it forth. Just like a pregnant woman. A pregnant woman, she's impregnated, she gonna have that baby. It ain't if, it's when. She's gonna have that baby. She gonna bring forth that child. So when lust is conceived, that's when a lot of Israelites be ashamed. Because lust got on you. You could be burning with lust. You could be burning with evil thoughts. I mean, you could be brewmaster, Shalom. You could be the brewmaster of something really, really evil. Conjuring it up, plotting and planning. You can have it all scribbled down, all wrote down. That's lust. But if you bring that out and somebody correct you and they say, no, brother, what you thinking about? What are you doing? No. This, and then you get corrected, they stopped you from sinning. But it's going to be worse if you go through all that plotting and planning and then you commit that act and now you get caught. You might end up in jail. You might have afflicted somebody really bad, harmful. Now your name cast out is wicked and evil. You far from a child of God. You just gave Israel, Hebrews, a bad name. They're like, man, you ain't in the truth. You know how that hurts for somebody to, oh, you're not in the truth. That'll hurt you. That'll gut you, man. So you can't be ashamed when it concerns how you're going to end up looking. What's going to be said about your spirit. What's going to be said about your name. What's going to be said about you. That's what you have to think about. What's going to be said about you? So you have to live your life worthy of what you want spoken about you. Don't be like, I don't care what people say about me. Don't be like that. Okay? For there is a shame that will bring forth sin. If you like that, and you continue on that path, then you're going to end up in sin. But you ain't going to like it because the wages of sin is death. Romans 6:23. You ain't going to like that. The way the Most High judge you because of sin. Go ahead.
And there is a shame which is glory and grace. And
there is a shame which is glory and grace. Meaning, this person was ashamed and then they brought it forth. I see this. I get this from people. They come forth and they be ashamed to say it, but when they finish, when the edification using the scripture, it's like, oh, yeah, that's not that bad. I talked to somebody last night. They brought something forth. So I didn't want to tell you. And the whole conversation after speaking with them about this matter, they was like, when you gonna get me? I'm like, I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not here to cut you up. I'm not here to make you feel worse than you already feel pertaining to the thing that you already know. But when I advised you and counseled you the first time, it was for you to listen. Now you got yourself in a situation that you got to live with. It's not my job to make you feel like shit in order for you to understand how terrible it is you messed up. You feel like that already. But when we bring forth the type of, shame, and we spill the beans and we say, hey man, I got this going on, man, I've been feeling like that. When the scriptures say that you're going to end up with glory and grace, the scriptures is the glory. The grace is you're going to get an outlet away from that sin. You don't get to continue in that sin. A path going to be ushered unto you. Go this way. Don't turn to the left. Don't turn to the right. Go this way. And once you go down that way, that's when you have to trust in the Most High. Because that's when some of the afflictions that you living out right now, some of you living out afflictions right now. Some of you going through certain things right now. That's why you have to try to endure the things that you're going through. You have to endure this hardness. Because you're going through things right now. Because that ushering of that path was showed unto you, and somebody said, walk that way. Go down that direction, do this and do that, and don't do this and don't do that. Now you going through that, you was able to be stopped from committing those acts, commit that sin. Now you got to be patient while you walk in the grace of the Most High. Because now you let the Most High continue to bless you with what he needs to bless you with. Okay? Which is the spirit and understanding. Okay, so let's go back in Shalom. Let's go back to 2 Corinthians 11. And 26 it is.
2 Corinthians 11 and 26. In journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers,
And perils, dangers. So journeys, he been on long journeys. He was in dangers of waters, like storms. Sometimes you see pictures and they show you the storms and stuff that brew out there in the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans and stuff like that. And we like, wow, I wouldn't ever want to be on no boat like that. And some of you from the comfort of your house be holding on to the couch and I ain't going out there. You ain't getting me on no cruise. I'm not going out there. He said, I've been out there. Dangers of robbers. So what is this telling you, Israel? It's telling you that you can experience bad people that want to rob you. He said he's been in robberies before. Okay? Go ahead.
in perils by mine own countrymen.
Right. By his own countrymen, meaning other Israelites. You can't trust anybody. Okay? Be on the swivel. Be aware of your environment, your situation. Okay? Before you move on, these things that we're reading about, that doesn't counsel or make void the law, make void the spirit that you have to maintain. Scriptures have to be applied the way you're supposed to live. These environments will be around you, and you still have to apply the scriptures. That's the enduring hardness part. Don't think that, Paul didn't think because, let me refresh that, because I don't know what he thought in the beginning, but this is what he ended up with. Like many of us, we might have thought, oh, I'm in the truth. All brothers are countrymen. All brothers gonna deal with me right. Oh, I'm in the truth. I shouldn't be getting robbed. Oh, I'm in the truth. I shouldn't be almost drowning. Oh, I'm in the truth. Nobody should throw sticks and stones at me. I'm in the truth. Just because you're in the truth does not mean that you ain't gonna suffer and catch hell. That's why you have to wake up. When you walking in the truth, you are still subject to a physical realm. The truth is inside you. It's the spirit that causes you to behave yourself on a level that's higher than everybody else on the face of the earth. And the only ones that's going to be able to really vibe with you are those that are walking that same path. You have to be smart while you in this truth. This truth make you smarter. Not supposed to make you dumber. Okay? So now, so dangers by the heathen, right? Dangers by the other nations. Stop thinking, oh, I'm in this truth. All nations, they're gonna respect me. Nope. All nations are going to disrespect you because all nations, they don't like you. Everybody in here is saying this precept, right? In perils by the heathen. That's telling you he was endangered by the heathens, by the other nations. So you are subject to be endangered by the other nations. What do? Keep your eyes open, your ears open, and your mouth open. Keep your mouth shut. Your objective is to do what? Get away. Let me free myself from this environment, from this situation. Don't provoke any situation. Always look for a strategy to exit the situation without intimidating anything or anybody. You're here to preserve life. First and foremost, yours. Keep seeing our heathens, they shooting our people for robbery or bad service. You get a bad service, after you complain respectfully, leave the premises. Don't sit there and tear their racks up. Call the police if you feel unjustly done. File a complaint. Better Business Bureau. So always a professional way. It's always a good way to do something. And the way that you see our people put themselves in perils, do not go about that way. I'm burning your store down. Do not go about it that way. That does not mean that you are not black and you are not power and you are not black power and you don't believe or you're not strong or that doesn't mean diddly squat. The way that I'm telling you will get you back home to your family. You got to think about that. You got people at home that's waiting for you, man. Sisters, you're going to put that in jeopardy over a set of nails? We've been telling you the whole time, go to your own people anyway. Learn to do your own nails anyway. We're telling you that. But you don't listen. Now you end up in a big fight with the Koreans. Esau going to let them put you to death. Pearls in the city. And people are like, I want to look for a good neighborhood. Well, when you find one, you let me know. Because if you leave from your neighborhood and you go to the heathens, they want to kill you. You're going to be the first to purge. I know me one, I'm going to purge. They're going to be looking like that. You walking outside on your lawn like you getting along. Shit, hit the fan time. They like, that nigga's mine. You better not touch him. I'm getting that one there. Everywhere you go, you a good neighborhood. Okay. I'm staying right here in the hood where it's good. Okay. I hear gunshots in my hood. I hear gunshots. And people are always doing this and people are always doing that. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to move in a better environment. I'm being human. So I'm staying in the hood where it's all good. What old boy say? He got his money. He was gone. I got my check. I was gone. I paid cash. Oh, Lord. So we're at 2 Corinthians 11 and 26, and we're tying that together with 2 Timothy 2:1 about enduring hardness. Okay? Because a lot of you, a lot of us, not just you, me too. When I endure hardness, when I'm going through hard times, I pray. It depends on what the hard time is. Either I talk to my wife or I talk to a brother. I listen to the brothers. I listen to when they bringing out the scriptures. I go and I sync up. I jump on the charger. I plug in. I have to get my mind wired up if I be in trouble. Or I go to sleep, take a nap, pass a little time. Okay? So we all gonna go through different hardnesses. We're gonna go through hardnesses. So pearls in the city and pearls in the wilderness, pearls in the sea and pearls among false brethren. So false brethren are people that pretend to be right for a reason. They're not right. They're not right. They're false. And you can tell they're false because they're going to move falsely. Okay? In verse 27.
In worriedness and painful.
In worriedness. In worriedness. So was he worried? Yes. We all worry. Okay? I worry. But what do? Like I said, I get into the scriptures. I listen. I love to listen. I love to be instructed. Okay? Worriedness. Painfulness. Hurt. Everybody has some form of affliction going on. So when you go through pain, you have to endure that. I told you, he got knocked out. What do you think he's thinking about when he... There's no way you can get stoned and left for dead, and then you teaching somebody about pain, and you don't think about when you got bricked up. Probably had a little monument on top of this brother, man. All rocks. They had to dig him out. These Jakes, man, they busted him up. You talk about pain. Okay, go ahead.
In watchings often.
In watchings often. So when you watch, that means you on alert, security. I had to watch for my back. I had to watch to make sure that people weren't going to come up and violate us. A lot of times we feel that we're in the truth. Nobody gonna come up against us. Nobody gonna come up and harm you. People will harm you. So, you got to you got to create a watch. You got to be alert. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me. I'm in the truth. That boy was kicking and screaming. Yeah, how about Shem? Y'all was shot. Yeah, how about Shem? Y'all was shot. They was grabbing him out, man, taking him to jail, beating him. Watchings often. Go ahead.
In hunger and thirst.
In hunger and thirst. So he had been hungry, no food, broke. How many of us, without a show of hands, we've been through this before? Hunger, no food, can't drink the way that you want to drink, what you want to drink, etc., etc. That's how he was. They didn't stop him from, they didn't turn him around from the truth. His job wasn't paying. The money was funny. He spent it till it was all gone. He only had enough to pay the bills. Got no more money for food. got no money for food. So now he's hungry. Are you like that? You don't start thinking, oh, the Most High is not with me. The Lord ain't answering my prayers. The Most High gonna suffer you to hunger. The Lord gonna suffer you to thirst. Okay? Hold that and let's get Exodus 8. That's gonna come out of the mouth of the prophet. Exodus 8. What am I looking for? Deuteronomy 8.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 8. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2. Call it out.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee.
Right, to humble you, to prove you the way that Israel was supposed to remember. It is not the way, like, hey, remember these directions. Remember. Relax. It's not remember the direction. It's talking about remember the way that you're being taught. All the years of your life, 40 years. So if you say that and somebody's 21 and they were born in the wilderness, then the whole life, remember everything that you've been taught to humble you. So all the time that you've been in the truth, there are certain things that are transpiring, and it's been happening the whole time you've been in the truth. The Most High is trying to break the thing that you're trying to hold on to humble thee. Go ahead.
And to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart.
To know what's in your heart. So the stuff that he taking you through, he's seeing what type of decision are you going to make. Your actions are showing your decision making. Go ahead.
Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
If you're going to keep the commandments or no. So when you going through certain things and you being humbled and you being proved, it's supposed to usher you into the keeping of those commandments that you've been taught your whole life. Maybe you creating a struggle. You creating a struggle, bucking up against it because you're like, I refuse to do this. I refuse to be that way. Well, guess what's not going to go away? The humbling. The thing that the Most High is taking you through, the fiery trial, it ain't going to go away. It's going to stay there. It's going to rest upon you because you have not passed it. You have got to understand the will of God. You know you. That doesn't work. It never have and it never will. And the things that I said it before in the last class, the things that you allow, you will not change. So you have to stop allowing it. You have to refuse it. You have to say no. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger.
He allowed you to go without food. The Most High will allow you to go without money. He would allow you to exhaust your EBT card. He would allow you to exhaust, go into the negative, to where you even owe on your debit card. He would allow your bank accounts, your little statements, your little, you know how people balance an account. He would allow you to get that all screwed up. He would allow that to happen. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. He's not with you. You're not in the truth. He wants to see, how do you respond to affliction? What are you going to exalt? What are you going to put first? Are you going to call upon him? Are you going to cast all your care upon him and say, hey, you know, I need you now. And if I don't eat, then I don't eat, but I need you now. Are you going to continue to think of him with a good heart? Or are you going to turn your back, pray less, do less, seek more? Thank you, brother. Shalom, man. Most High Christ bless you and yours too. What are you going to do? You're going to seek him, or you're going to lean upon him. A lot of times, the Most High would take us through these things, getting our attention, wanting us to lean upon him more, cry to him more, cast the care upon him more, prioritize and put him first. We're always trying to figure out what the Most High wants us to do. Let me let some of you, all of you know something. I don't know. I'm in the same position that you in. Every day I ask the Most High the same questions that you asked. What do you want me to do? Where do I go? What do I do? The same thing. No different from you. Just like you, one of you. I am making a choice and a decision to endure the things that he has taught me. And I find out on a day-to-day basis. Because I keep his commandments. So he'll give me the daily bread. What he want me to do tomorrow, I don't know. I can't even think. He said, take no thought. Tomorrow shall take thought of itself. But today, I'm doing what he want me to do today. So you can follow that example. Don't think it's strange that you don't have all the answers to everything. But you got to stop struggling with the do's and the don'ts. The do's and the don'ts are thou should not. Not means don't do it. If you get that part right, then you're going to become to a point to, okay, what do I do now? That's where you want to be at. What do I do now? And then he'll show you. And whatever happens naturally, that it happens as long as you're in those commandments. A lot of times it doesn't end up in glory, where you glorified. Sometimes you might not do anything at all. And that's the will of God. You might not be doing nothing. Okay? Most I don't want everybody to do, you know. That's not your job. Remember the other brothers. I offered to help. Somebody help me out. Azariah was one of them, and the other brother. They were supposed to do nothing. Jonathan and Simon told them to sit still with the people. See that you make not war with the heathens until we return. So Jonathan was one. Azariah was one of them. What was the other brother's name? Just off the hip. That's okay. So remember, we just went through it the other day. Do what? Nothing. Sometimes doing nothing is the will of God. Is the will of the Most High. Am I saying don't apply the scriptures? Nope. Nope. That's not what's being said. You must apply the commandments at all costs, all the time. But you don't have to worry about my job. I'm going to do my job. You have to do your job. Your job, let's say, for instance, you're a woman. You have to tend to the ways of your household. You have to be at one and at peace in your household. You have to obey your husband. The things that you learn, if she would learn anything, let her ask the husband. You got to get it from your husband. Okay? You have to be at one with your sisters. Okay? You have to teach your children. You must take time out to teach your children. Don't go beyond the scope. Some of you try to be righteous over much. Being over righteous. Get into your lane. A lot of brothers. I don't want to go too far away. Brothers, your priority is to study, to show yourself that you are approved of the Lord, that you becoming a workman. The way you don't have to be ashamed, where you can rightly divide the word of truth. You can go open up that scriptures and being charitable. That's the first thing. If you can't be charitable, then don't open it up. Do not open the book up to anybody saying anything to them if you cannot be charitable. Because the scriptures teach you that you cannot let corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. You're going to open up. But look here, you niggas, you this it. No. It says, but good to the use of edifying, that it may minister what? Grace. You want people to be happy to see you, man. You want people to be happy to see you, happy to hear from you, happy to hear it coming from you. Don't go beyond that. So the Most High will suffer you. We was at Deuteronomy chapter 8 and 3. The Lord will allow those cars to run out. He'll suffer you to hunger. He'll suffer you to thirst. Okay? And feed thee with manna. Now we're going to get fed with that manna. That's the Messiah. You're going to be fed. Christ said, I am that bread which cometh down. John 5. Grab that real quick and hold. Deuteronomy 8. Okay, the book of St. John. Chapter 5. Is it 5, 6 and 50? 51.
This is St. John chapter 6 and 51.
Start at 50.
St. John 6 and 50.
Sorry, brother. One more time, brother, since you didn't believe it on me. Start at verse 47. Verily I say unto you, that he that believeth on me have everlasting life. Verse 48.
I am that bread.
I am that
life.
bread of life. See, go ahead.
Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead.
Right. So we just referenced that bread, but now, when the Most High is taking you and suffering you through all these different things, he's still going to give you that bread, but it's the Messiah. Go ahead.
This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die.
Go ahead.
I am the living bread.
I am. So Christ believed. We must believe that the wisdom, understanding, the path, the direction, instruction, examples, that came from the Spirit, from the Most High, that you can eat that, you can deal with that. He said, I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. So when we are suffering and we going through all these different things, you have to keep in mind the Christ. What would the Messiah do? So now, remember, you come in the volume of the book. So anything that's inside of the book, that's telling you, okay, let me do this. I could do this, I could do that. I can do this, I can do that. Okay? Let's see. So let's lose that. But we understand. So it's referring to now, let's result back into the scriptures. Okay? Because Christ did say, like, he come in the volume of the book. Okay? So, Deuteronomy chapter 8 and 3, he humbled thee and suffered thee and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know. Go ahead.
That he might make thee know that man does not live by bread only.
Right. Here's the next part. Go ahead.
But by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord does man live.
But by every word. So when you go through the sufferings, whenever you're in pain, you got to pick up the scriptures and read. And if you're in no condition to pick up the scriptures and read, and plug in, jump on the charger, plug in. Hear the scriptures come out, get ministered unto, get spoken unto, get preached unto. Turn the class on. And if you're not in the condition or mental shape or capacity to search for the one that you're looking for, turn on any class. Because every word of the Lord is good. And the Most High going to start building in spirit, because when you listening to all our classes, we are inspiring you to keep the commandments of the Most High. We are giving you the faith and hope. We're telling you how to obtain the Spirit and what the Spirit does. These words that are coming out through the scriptures in these classes are supposed to be a comfort to you. They're supposed to lead and guide you and direct you. They're supposed to restore and put you back in the mind state of the scriptures and the Spirit. Let me leave that alone. Let me leave that alone. I'm vibing with the Spirit. So you listening to us, but it's the Spirit that's speaking expressly that's coming out. We're just men. And whom the Most High said, well, listen, I'm going to walk you, I'm going to talk to you. So, the Most High is, inside of brothers bringing out the scriptures. All right? So, let's lose that. Lose John. Corinthians 11. 2 Corinthians 11 and 27. It's going on and on. All the things that are troubling us, even in these latter days and these times, we are living examples and witnesses that we are suffering and going through certain things. Wordness, pain, watchings. When you watch, you're afraid. Some of you watch the mail. Some of you got to watch your back. Some of you got to watch your car. You got to watch your house. I don't want nobody breaking in my stuff. You got to watch often. And hunger, we just dealt with that. We show you why did the Most High take us through these things? To prove, to see, so we can see that, okay, you're going to keep these commandments? You're going to keep the laws? And if I allow you to be hungry. But when he take you through this, then he's going to feed you through these scriptures to comfort you and build you. And you're going to know that man don't live by bread and water alone, but by what helps you to feel better. Because you can catch hell and go through stuff and on a full stomach and still be vexed. But once the Most High comforts you with this food, with the bread of life, the understanding of the scriptures through the Messiah, Yahushua, whom the word calls Christ, guess what? You're going to feel 100% better. The scriptures say that Christ said, all you that are heavy laden, meaning you got a lot on your shoulder and you got a lot on them plate to deal with, he said, come to him and you're going to get rest. You're going to find rest. So you come to him by coming to the scriptures and hearing the scriptures by those ones that are appointed to serve you, that understands that they are here to serve you, man. Not to be ministered unto. How many of you call me ministering to me? You see? But how many in here do I call, or out there do I call trying to minister to? So same thing. Our job is to minister unto you. So, and ministering unto you, that's set up to help you. Okay? Fastings, often. So he said fasting. He had to fast. In cold, he was suffered to cold. Heating, your heat ain't on. Furnace go out. It's cold in this house. It's cold. Guess what? Endure it. Endure it. Should coldness draw you out of the spirit?
Yes, sir.
If being cold draws you out of the spirit, Satan's going to take advantage of that. He's going to say, oh, I see what makes this person call me. So he'll play games with the heat. He'll play games with the electric bill, with the gas bill. He'll play games with the other people. He'll play games with the check in the mail. and you end up cold, and that could be a stumbling block for you. And what about the weather or temperature itself? Heat, something the Most High created. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. If you enjoy something better, I mean, I guess find a different way to acknowledge that you like it. But I'm not gonna. It's cold. I hate the cold. I hate. Satan gonna come through that. You're gonna have a hard time. Nakedness. What is nakedness? Is this literally you naked without clothes on? His brother say he didn't have, there's times he didn't have a lot of clothes. If you don't have a lot of clothes, that's not really appealing to the flesh. You might look kind of rubbish, bummy, low class, low budget. Sometimes I see brothers with these decked out clothes on. They got all these clothes, ain't got no money. Say, yo, brother, maybe if you stop buying so many clothes, then you'd have some money. Every brother should have some money. You brothers out there, if you don't have any money, give me a call. Not so I can give you some, so I can correct you on why you don't have no money, because you should be saving some money. Every brother, even sisters too. Y'all save some money. It doesn't matter, save something. There's no way you should have zero. I got zero. You mean to tell me that you can't make a phone call? Can't get on the bus if you had to? Huh? You can't? Can't go on the bus? No, I got no money. Where's your mind at? What are you thinking about? You spend it down to zero. No. Didn't you grow up? I grew up in the society. I don't know if it was my mom, but society always taught me to keep 25 cents for a phone call. Phone calls used to be a quarter. How much are they now? Do they? I don't even think they don't even have them anymore. Oh man. This world has changed drastically, brother. Was that Do the Right Thing? That was in the background. I think I was on the phone answering questions or doing something, monitoring the post put out, and something was playing. Was that it? Do the Right Thing? Oh, Do the Right Thing was playing in the background with Spike Lee and the streets full of people, children everywhere, and they're playing in a fire hydrant, and an old man sitting around. And, I told my son, I said, hey man, that's how stuff used to be. People everywhere, on every street. Radio Raheem is going down the block, boom, with the radio, big old box like this. Fight the power, fight the power. He goes into the career shop. And he said, give me 20 D batteries. They said, C? He said, no, D, mother, D. He said, C? He said, no, can't you hear me? Give me 20 D batteries, mother. He just kept going on and on. Fight the power. Times changed drastically. Streets full of people. All right. So we was dealing with the nakedness. Yeah, you might not have the clothes that you want. Satan can, try and entertain you in your mind. Oh, I don't have what I want. The Most High is not blessing me. The first thing you want the Most High to do, is to bless you so that you could still look like you looked in the world. And so you don't feel blessed. You don't feel blessed. Another example. I played minor league football, and some of the guys, one of them still he's on my friends list. So he sent me, they sent out this post to when, back in the day, the team went, I don't know, I think we had like 27 straight wins or something like that. So he sent out this post, posted everybody in it. But then one of the guys that we was like real good friends, he's not a Facebook friend. So I go on his profile, I say, oh, this my buddy here, So I go on his profile and ain't nothing changed about him. He's still slicker than ice. Still slick. His dress code, still about the money, still about the clothes, still about this, that, and the third. And when I saw it, and this was just today, several hours ago, when I saw all of this stuff, I was like, I remember I used to dress like that. And then I thought to myself, I said, maybe I should ask him if he want some of these suits. Like, ha, 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 ha. I kind of chuckled to myself. But I don't have any of the suits. I threw them out. I hate that. I think that the necktie is mockery. We were all hung. So I really against tying anything, trying to think that, hey, this makes me look, nice. A nice border in blue with some fringes makes me look nice. You understand? On any garment that's not publicizing a rich oppressor, that makes me look nice. Don't measure how you look based upon the type of clothes that you wear or that you got on. I don't know these name brand guys no more because I don't wear that stuff. But some of them, Ralph Lauren and Louis Vuitton, is it Gucci and all of that. Don't break your neck trying to put these labels and titles on. And I know, trust and believe, quality clothes, they will fit different, they will wear different, and they will look good, etc., etc. They last long. Okay. Me personally, I'm not for spending a lot of money on that. I'm gonna try and find something that's really reasonable price, cheap price. I'm gonna find some cheap price that's reasonable, clearanced out, and I'm gonna dress that up, and I'm gonna put some banging fringes on it, and a banging border on it, and I'm good. I'm fly. I'm looking good. That's how I feel. I can't go out here and so nakedness ain't gonna oppress me. I would literally have to be naked without any clothes for me to be affected. I don't want the Most High to put me in a situation, but I'm saying I am not the one that's finna be a crybaby over designer clothes. You ain't finna get me. Not me. You ain't finna get me. There's one thing that I really don't play about though, and that's because I gotta have a nice shoe on because it's comfortable. If I'm walking around and I'm standing on my feet, I can't wear $20 boots. It's like walking on the ground. I will go sit down on you. So that's my thing there. That's my thing there. I got to, for a work boot, I will pay out the wazoo because it's a difference. It's a difference. I mean, when I'm working, I'm rolling. I got to keep them legs to moving. But other than that, and that's a one-time deal. And boots like that, they'll last you what's that? Boots like that, they'll last you quite a while. 4 or 5 years, they'll last. Wearing them all the time under that extreme weather like that, through the cold, through the water, through the dust, through the dirt, up and down, stuff like that. But other than that, clothes, this is a t-shirt. This doesn't cost that much. Say GA on it. I'd rather wear this than a Ralph Lauren. So don't let nakedness get you down. We're at 2 Corinthians 11 and 27. Verse 28 now.
Beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily, the care of all the churches.
The care of all the churches. He said everybody he teach, when they brought their matters, they put their matters to him. They brought those matters to him. So he actually cared about them. And I try to use this, as a template, according to these scriptures, to have a genuine concern and care for people. Go ahead.
Who is weak?
Who is weak? It's a question. Go ahead.
And I am not weak.
And I'm not weak. Y'all go through stuff. I don't go through nothing. Come on, man. We got to fight the fight too. We have to fight the fight too. So I don't, you can't be excluded. You have to rise up to the occasion and fight the good fight. If I got to do it, you got to do it. And you should be saying, if that brother can do it, I could do it. That's what these examples of laying down of the life is here for you to see. Okay? Go ahead.
Who is offended, and I burn not?
Right, who is offended, and I burn not? Meaning, hey, things happen, and I feel that too. You get what I'm saying? I feel that too, but we have to deal with it. So let's lose that, and let's go back to Timothy. Okay, 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2. The things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men. This part right here. Who shall be able to teach others also. So what that means is everything that I just went through and showed y'all that Paul went through, you're supposed to be able to teach other people. When you find them going through hard times, you say, hey, here's an example of a brother that endured hardness. He persevered. He was subjected to all these harsh conditions, and he still was found faithful, keeping the commandments. He believed in the Most High. You're supposed to be able to commit this to what type of people, though? It says faithful. Faithful, because y'all are faithful. You brothers and sisters that are sitting here in this class, you are faithful brothers and sisters. And being faithful, now it's your responsibility to be able to have to give it to somebody else. When you see them, if any, he just broke down a lot. He just explained a lot. And yet, he still kept the faith. He still kept the commandments. So in your own words, you'd have to explain this to somebody else and say, hey, you're not released from an obligation of being right. You going through this, that, and the third, that's fine. But you got to continue. And you got to find a way to overcome that by seeing that, hey, the Most High is putting me through this. Let me not give place to the thing that's trying me. Let me not render evil for evil. Let me not be moved. Let me not give place to sin and Satan. Let me not go astray after lust. Let me not go a-whoring. Let me not destroy myself in this test, trial, tribulation, or temptation. Okay? Verse 3.
Thou therefore endure hardness.
Thou therefore endure hardness. So at the end of this thing, Israel, we have to endure hardness. Okay? Go ahead.
As a good soldier of Yahweh Shai Christ.
Right, as a good soldier. excuse me, meaning as a war soldier. We're in this army of Christ. So guess what? We have to be a good soldier of Christ. Okay. Actually, I think we're out of time. Let's see. Because I hate to get into something else and then just not be able to deal with it. Okay. Okay. We'll stop. Hey, Shalom into Love Boutique. We'll stop it there. I think I've decided next week, after the Sabbath, next Tuesday, we'll probably begin to start Purim. Yeah, we'll start then. And hey, what is up, man? What y'all doing? So Purim is the 17th. Nicanor is the 16th. I'm just bringing up this calendar. Nicanor 16 that evening. Oh, okay. All right. So Purim, that's a double Sabbath. Yes, glad I said so. So listen up. Shalom, sister. Purim is a double Sabbath. So that's going to be Sunday at evening to Monday at evening, Monday at evening to Tuesday at evening. So that is February the 17th. February the 17th at even, that's the Sabbath. That starts the first day of Purim. But we'll be finished by that with the whole lesson. So you'll know exactly what's going on and what casting per, meaning the lot, is all about. What transpired, what happened. Okay? So it's a double Sabbath. So at that time, you're going to have to make sure that you prepare all the way up until Tuesday at even, which will be back in here, to buy, sell, etc. Okay? Those are feast days, and it doesn't fall on the 7th-day Sabbath, so of course you can cook. But the reason why we're getting out in front of these things so that you can know, you can understand, you can make preparation, so that you're not caught like, oh, I didn't know that it was a Sabbath, and you run into the gas station. That's not how you obey the voice of the Lord. Okay. So we'll start our scriptural preparation on Tuesday the 5th. Tuesday the 5th, February the 5th. So we'll go to 5th, the 7th, the 9th, the 12th, the 14th, and then we'll probably make it so, because it's a long story. It's concerning Esther in the Bible. Will make it so that on the 16th, we'll be finishing it. And everybody should know the history like you know the back of your hand and the blemishes on your body. That's why we go through the long version of every high holy day in the scriptures. We go through the long version. We don't just pull up a precept and read it and say, this is what y'all keep and go do it. That's not how you teach somebody. That's not how you learn. You go through the long version. The version of reading all the chapters and you're like, oh man. So don't be here nodding and going to sleep and thinking about something else, or you on the other end. Oh, you popping in and out. People do that. They popping in and out of class, but then you don't know what it's about. If you don't know what it's about, how you gonna ever be able to show or teach somebody else what this thing is all about? That's the whole objective, teaching you to be teachers, fishermen of men. Okay? Can you spell that? Spell which part? Purim. P-U-R-I-M. Purim. P-U-R-I-M. So, we got that. The dates is February the 17th and the 18th. That is a Sunday and a Monday. Those are Sabbath days. Those are Sabbath days. Okay? And I guess maybe before then, because we're going to take it right up to the very brink, to that Saturday, the 16th before. Yes. Before then, maybe on the Sabbath, I'll mention it again, and I'll show you in the law where it says that it's a Sabbath and that they rested. And therefore, this far ahead, 2-3 weeks ahead, 2-3 weeks ahead, you will be able to accept these are Sabbaths. Because we ain't going to spring it to you on Saturday, be like, oh, don't buy and sell for the next 2 weeks. You ain't got time to prepare. So I'm going to make sure, remind me, brothers, make sure on the Sabbath, that's the only thing we're going to get, because we don't want to create spoilers. We're going to work for this thing. We get pleasure in going through all of this history to know that, because it's a lot of detail in there. It's a lot of good detail in that story. Do you know all the sisters that are running around calling themselves no cooking on those days? You can cook on those days. Those are days of feasting. Yes, you can cook. You just can't buy or sell. The only day that you cannot cook on is the 7th day Sabbath. That's the only day that you can never ever cook on. Even if a feast day fall on the 7th day Sabbath, you still can't cook. You can't use a steamer. You can't use a microwave. Don't blow your hot breath on it. Do not heat that food up. What you would have to do is you would have to prepare that meal before. And right before it gets dark, everybody should be there. So when it gets dark, you know, okay, remember it's the Sabbath, but also it might be the new moon feast. Or it might be another feast that are coming in. So when y'all eat the food, it didn't go ice cold. It's still temperature, it's still warm. You had it covered. You eat it and you enjoy it. That's how you keep that feast. Do you go back and heat it up like you do a normal day? No, because it's the 7th day Sabbath. That's how you do that. Nobody's saying something you got it wrapped up in aluminum foil. We don't. Nobody, the Lord don't care. But you just cannot kindle a fire to reheat it up. Okay? So what were we saying? We were saying about the devil's Sabbath. I know I'm reiterating. I'm saying it over and over for a reason. I guess that's it, huh? We all clear? So Saturday, can we keep it in the oven? Yes. As long as the oven is not on, as long as ain't no fire on, keep it in there. Just let it sit in there. Nobody gonna judge that matter. As long as that oven is not on, that oven has to be off. So whatever temperature that oven held, when you shut that oven, that's fine. If that food is sitting in there, okay, well, you don't put it under the kitchen sink. Let it sit there. Let it sit on top. Let it sit in there. Who cares? As long as ain't no fire in there. It's going to stay warm as long as it stays warm. And eat it as much as you want to, but you cannot heat that thing back up. So that's it. Y'all, somebody, you want to start the communion? All right, and the brother out here, y'all make sure y'all send up prayers for him. He had a toothache. Him was down sick.
Still hurt too.
Tell me it still hurt. Yeah, my man's in them. I'm praying for him, man. You gotta toughen up, man. No, a toothache can be really terrible though. I mean, I had a toothache before. It felt like lightning striking in your head. You ever felt that before? That's all. What is that? I mean, like, wait a second. I'm like, where they do that? How did it even possible? Y'all know what I mean though, for real. I'm not the only person. Light. Am I describing it right? Lightning, electricity. That's real. That's crazy. Now that's terrible. But he wasn't like that. He just. That brother's bold as a lion. What is this song y'all saying? Put that on the driveway in the pot in Florida. All right. That 100-degree would keep it up. Yeah, y'all just eat outside. This is like we just eat outside in the summertime. Our food never get cold. You could die from a toothache. It could get infected really bad. I mean, y'all just best friends. Yeah, I know, brother. All right. So I think we got everything. Oh, I know what I was finna say. I was about to say, and then y'all know the name that a lot of sisters are running around with, Hadassah? That's Esther. So if you got the name of Hadassah, then do you know what that name is really about? Do you know what that name is really about? That name holds weight. Okay? So Matthew chapter 26. When y'all hear this, y'all know it's over. I'm gonna show y'all the next preacher up in here. He was talking during class. He gonna be the next preacher. Go ahead. When you come back, I'm gonna put you up here. I'm gonna see what you do. Now, when Christ was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came up to him a woman having an alabaster box, a very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, "To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor." When Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, understood it, he said unto them, "Why trouble you the woman? For she hath wrought the good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her." So all praises to the Most High for giving us sister the Spirit to come forth, keep the commandments, and bring forth a beautiful example of a broken and contrite heart. All right, shalom. The communion, 1 Corinthians 11 and 23. Started to make some bread today, but I think I got sidetracked and I wasn't for sure if I had any of the ingredients at the house. I'm going to look for that. Get us some of that bread made. Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 23. For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, whom the world calls Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. But he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. Excuse me. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. What is that? Just leave it. You know, all Israelites, all repentant Israelites, you should be keeping, you should be communion, you should be breaking bread, going through this. Christ said that as often as we come together, for us to do this. If you don't know how to make the unleavened bread, you can buy the unleavened bread. Unleavened bread is any form of bread without leaven or a rising agent in it. The alternative we typically would make our own, but the alternative that we use is a Triscuit. All right? All repentant Israelites, you should be taking the communion of Christ. Okay, most high in the name of Christ, thank you for the food and drink, amen.
Amen.
This is body which is broken for you. This is blood. And what the communion of Christ represents, along with it actually being him that was broken, is that you're going to walk in the heritage of your forefathers, the Israelites, and that through faith in the Messiah, whom the world calls Christ, you are going to keep God's commandments and set the example that he set forth in this earth as being a God-fearing person, as being the most highest holy nation of people. Okay? So that's different from being what the world has created, some form of entertainer or professional athlete or just a typical wage slave. You're above that. You're the greatest people on the face of the earth, and you must live like it. You live like it by keeping the commandments of God and walking in them, all right? So with that, we're going to say shalom, And that's it. We're going to stand and face Jerusalem, send them prayers. Y'all share the video, okay? Tag somebody in it. Yes, you can. Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6:9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10:2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Bless you, most high King of heaven and earth, and all things most high, in the name of the Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your harvest, to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws, to stand before thy people Israel. Give to us strength to break down our lies with thy word. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel. Numbers chapter 6:24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Children of Israel, bless one another.
The Most High in the name of Christ, bless you all.